the journey is far more interesting than the destination. When you're a startup, everybody's talking to everybody. Now, I'm a procurement geek. I love procurement stuff. My realization was product I had built, which had seen incredible success, was not the right answer.
You are now co-founder of Oro Labs. Oro Labs is one of the market leaders.
We believe by solving the user experience, we can make procurement a whole lot more effective. We are obviously AI first company, needless to say.
Yeah.
You are really silly if you're a startup, you're not AI first.
Yeah.
You need to get a head check. This AI wave is here and it's real.
How did you manage that journey altogether?
Be bold a little bit. Your creativity, your growth is exponential.
Correct.
It's not linear. Just because you've done a lot doesn't mean you're going to be successful. You start focusing on the wrong things. Let's assume you start a company and it fails. I can tell you, you learn more than you can ever imagine. Team is the most important thing. All of us are human beings. We have our own quirks.
To start a startup, what you will advise to such people?
The truth is,
Hi Sudhir, welcome to Behind the Glass Door podcast. Starting from India, completing engineering there, moving to Bay Area in US, rising the corporate ladder in Ariba, becoming chief product officer, and then starting something on your own. It's been a fascinating journey. So thank you so much for being here.
oh, thank you, Sachin. Yeah, I arrived in UK a few days back. In fact, can't remember when I came. But yeah, it's been a great journey. It's always, as they say, the journey is far more interesting than the destination.
Right.
And it's been really fun.
I want to start with your Ariba days, right? Ariba is a fascinating company for me. I mean, love them or hate them. They have started everything in procurement from a digitalization point of view, right? You can't really ignore them. It's big. Tell me about your journey in Ariba.
I'll tell you how I got into Ariba and then why I stayed at Ariba for 9 years almost.
Right.
So that's the longest tenure I've had with any company. I joined Ariba in 2010 and I was there till late 2018.
Right.
So I was there for a long time, longer than any other company. I joined Ariba because I had a good friend who was already at Ariba. I had a job offer from another company. I met him for a drink.
Right.
I said, hey, I'm going to join this company. He said, why don't you think about Ariba? I said, the only thing I remember about Ariba is I lost a lot of money. Because
Explain that.
everybody has lost some money at that time.
Right.
He said, no, talk to us. Just come and talk to our CTO once just. So I said, fine. So he set up a hour and a half meeting. At that time, the CTO of Ariba was this super smart guy called Bhaskar. So I went and spent an hour and a half with him. I didn't know what procurement was. I didn't know head or tail. I'm a software engineer.
Right.
What do I know procurement? So I spoke to him and said, even though I lost my money, it's a pretty interesting subject. Then I said, the interview continued for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I ended up, not interview, conversation. I ended up talking to him for 4 hours.
Right.
And that day I decided, okay, I'm going to join this company compared to the other offer. Even though my other offer was as a higher position, I took this role. And so that was my starting point.
Right.
And I did various experiments with Ariba as a software engineer first. I was really joined as an architect, senior software engineer / architect.
Right.
So a couple of projects I did. First project I still remember I did was this project called Suppliers You May Like. The idea was Ariba had so much data.
True.
Because Ariba is still the biggest, Ariba network is the biggest network on the planet. Ariba procurement software is still the biggest procurement software on the planet.
True.
As you said, you hate it or like it,
Yeah.
still the biggest. They have more than $2 billion of revenue. That is twice the size of Coupa even now. Even Coupa is a great company. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
We're just talking about size.
Yeah.
Size-wise, Ariba is still twice compared to anybody else. So when I joined was the case as well. It was still the biggest company. Lots of data. So we said, hey, we have so much data. We can use that to recommend suppliers to people.
Right.
And say, okay, fine. So we build this product, a feature in the product where you can recommend suppliers. We build the feature, put it on users. Nobody liked it. Nobody was doing anything with it.
Okay.
I said, man, this seemed like a nice feature. We are recommending you things that you should care for,
Yeah.
but nobody likes. That's when I started talking to some users. Our product manager started talking to the actual end users.
Right.
And that started my journey in learning procurement.
Okay.
A failed experiment or a feature
Right.
started my journey into procurement. And then SAP acquired Ariba. There were some shuffles. Eventually, I ended up becoming the chief product officer. So I really grew through the ranks from software engineer to running a 2,000 plus people team. It was a great learning experience. Like I just gave you one example. I can give you many examples. I built a product called guided buying.
Okay.
And so after the whole SAP Ariba acquisition, Coupa started rising up.
Correct.
So at that time, Coupa was hitting Ariba with user interface.
Tell me the timeline. What year was this?
So SAP acquired Ariba around 2012ish.
Right.
And then that's when actually Coupa also started picking up steam.
Yeah.
Because remember, Ariba used to be this Switzerland. Whether your ERP is Ariba, your ERP is SAP or Oracle or PeopleSoft or JD Edwards or mixture of all of them.
Correct.
Ariba is a procurement solution.
Right.
Once it got acquired by SAP, some people who are more Oracle started wondering if Ariba is the right solution for them.
Correct.
So if you look at financial services, Coupa has more financial services customers for that fundamental reason. The reason being, a lot of financial services companies do use Oracle as their ERP.
Correct.
So that's how the market splits automatically, naturally. So that's the time when it was kind of picking it up. And then again, when I took over, what I realized was Coupa was hitting Ariba with the core problem being the user experience, user interface being clunky, old, etc. So we built this product called guided buying, and I wrote the first white paper with a couple of my other friends. At this point in time, I'm running all of engineering, etc., and product as well. We built the product, and it was massively adopted by. It had a massive adoption.
Okay.
I had some of the biggest companies on the planet as the design partners.
Right.
Some of the biggest companies on the planet were the first customers to go live. So very fortunate to have worked with such incredible people who I learned a lot from.
Right.
But the reason I wanted to give you this journey is, while Ariba has been I forgot to mention one important thing. Why I stayed at Ariba for 8.5 years. Remember I told you about the CTO who interviewed me?
Yeah.
So after I joined, I came with this lot of energy, outside energy, if you will. We were building some feature. I said, we should use a new technology. Why are we using old Ariba technology? And he said, do you know Ariba technology? I'm like, actually I don't is the true answer.
Right.
So then I started learning a little bit of Ariba, what Ariba had built.
Correct.
To my surprise, Ariba had built an incredible technology. People think of Ariba as a bad user interface. That's the notion.
That's what they remember.
That's what they remember. But actual technology was incredible. Think about it. They built that stuff, what we call JavaScript stuff. That is like you call this Angular, you call it React, is the framework that people use in the world today for building user interface, web interfaces. Ariba had equivalent of that in 2000. 2000.
This is like almost 25 years back.
25 years back. React was not born. Facebook was not born. Google was not born.
Right.
Even Amazon was barely born.
Yeah.
Amazon was selling just books.
So tell me something. Were they too slow to react then?
No, actually what happened, the big transformation that happened at Ariba was built in the days of not SaaS. It was built in the days of when people bought on-premise software. So Ariba was an on-premise software. So they went from being an on-premise software to a multi-tenant true SaaS, which many on-premise software have struggled to do.
Right.
But that is one company this happened before my time. I take no credit. But that is really engineering marvel, actually. People need to understand and appreciate the technology sometimes.
Correct.
That's really, really beautiful. They achieved that. But along with it comes baggage. And the baggage was you're truly not born in SaaS. So your operational processes, your architecture is not really born for SaaS. So that kind of hinders it a little bit. So that was kind of, I would say, the more of a reason. But the backend itself, the core technology was built quite nice. But it was also built in late 90s, early 2000s. So everything has a time and a place.
Correct. And when did you decide to move on? Right? I have done this enough. Let me do something on my own.
So my last 3.5, 4 years, now I'm part of SAP. Because I joined Ariba, became part of SAP through the acquisition. It was I built guided buying, as I told you. Massive adoption, massive success. We signed all kinds of customers you can think of. So I had opportunity to work very closely with lots of customers. Like I worked very closely with people at Johnson & Johnson. I still have friends there. I worked very closely with people at BASF, who I still have friends with, Adidas, and many, Chase, JP Morgan Chase. So like really incredible brands, incredible names. Philips, many great customers. So I learned a lot. But after 8.5 years, my realization was now I'm a procurement geek. I love procurement stuff.
Right.
Unfortunately, for some people, it's too boring. For me, it's exciting,
Right. Yeah.
good or bad, whatever. So I realized is the product I had built, which had seen incredible success, was not the right answer.
Okay. Explain that.
I didn't know the right answer because I spoke to the end users of guided buying, which was still the best of breed at the time. To be very clear,
Yeah.
to be clear, there was nothing better than that.
Yeah.
But I still didn't think it was the right answer. I didn't know what the right answer was.
Correct.
But since I built it, I knew what was the proposition or the assumptions we had made
Correct.
for building. And my conclusion after talking to users was we had made the wrong assumption.
Okay.
So obviously the solution was not completely accurate.
Right.
So I was like, okay. At the same time, SAP was going through some more changes internally. So it gave me opportunity to say, hey, do I want to continue or leave? Because I knew I had to look for a new thought process.
Correct.
And then with the SAP changes at the same time, it gave me opportunity to say, you know what, I do need to take a break
Yeah.
away from procurement. Think about what happened for 8.5 years.
Right.
And then go at it again. So I explicitly wanted to take my mind away because clearly I got the wrong answer.
Correct. Correct.
So that's the...
And we'll come to the next part of journey. But tell me one thing. I mean, what you mentioned, which was quite fascinating, is you work with a lot of clients. And typically in the SaaS companies, we have seen there is a customer support team. So you don't really interact with the product guy. There are some interaction on enhancements and so on. How did you make that rapport being a product guy with the clients?
Look, this is funny thing you mentioned. I was reading a startup book, how companies get big and how they lose their soul. And one of the soul, look, if you're a startup, now we're a startup.
Yeah.
When you're a startup, everybody's talking to everybody. Everybody's talking to customers.
Correct.
You only have very few resources compared to a large company which has so many resources all over the place.
Yeah.
In the startup, all you have is small set of resources. So what you want to do is have as low a barrier between customer and the engineer as possible.
Right.
Because they have to feel, they have to hear the customers too directly,
Correct.
not indirectly. So that's how startups work. It's not unique to us. That's how all startups work.
Right.
But big companies, that goes away. So one thing...
How did you manage then in Ariba?
Yeah, I'll come there. So when I took over in Ariba, I had already been at Ariba for 6 years. Not 6 years, maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
I'd already been at Ariba for 5 years. And I was a senior software engineer, architect we used to call ourselves, but an engineer primarily. So I knew the feeling of the people. So I was like, I knew how people felt.
Correct.
Ariba had a culture where people stayed at Ariba for a long time, but they were not happy at the same time. At the same time, so when I took over, I didn't really have a management experience as such.
Right.
I didn't come with degree in MBA or really, I didn't go through the ranks like, oh, I was a senior engineer, became a manager, senior manager, then a director, and then a VP, so on and so forth.
Correct.
I went from a senior engineer to a VP or SVP,
Correct.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't really had to go through that ladder. So my thinking was slightly different. And the first experiment I told you failed. I learned by talking to customers. So when I took over, my goal was every engineer should have exposure to customers. So, and at the same time, we were fortunate enough because SAP acquired Ariba. Ariba saw a big boom, hit the plateau. Coupa started taking over.
Correct.
So market dynamics also told SAP that, hey, you need to think differently about Ariba.
Correct.
So when they offered me the job to take over, we had a new CEO at the time. Alex became the CEO of Ariba. Okay. So SAP decided they're going to run it as a separate business unit, give the full P&L responsibilities to my boss, Alex. He was the president CEO of Ariba. And Alex had never been a CEO either.
Okay.
So now you had two people who are new news.
Correct.
I had never been a chief product officer. He had never been a CEO. But both are very ambitious.
Right.
And so both of us had the same ambition. So we wanted to make this work.
Right.
And we realized to make this work, we really need to listen to our customers. Either we're going to die or we're going to listen to our customers and really. So I'll tell you one thing. When I was at SAP, when I was at Ariba, this part of my journey, people used to come from SAP or the rest of the SAP say, hey, there's something you guys are doing well. Why you're growing at 28%?
Correct. Yeah.
And
which is tough for a big company to do. Like, I mean, startup is still, you can get the scale, but for a big company to grow by 28% is a big achievement, right?
Yeah. And And that attribute was a lot to Alex's leadership, to be frank. He's an incredible leader, but also how we ran our development, how much he gave freedom. He gave us the freedom to do the innovation the way we want to.
Right.
And the only way I knew to do innovate is work with customers as well. Of course, Henry Ford, as they say, if Henry Ford listened to the customer, they would say, "Give me a faster horse." So you have to be careful.
Yeah.
But there is a line that you have to listen to customers. So when I took over, because of that whole market dynamics and because SAP ran it as a separate business unit, given Alex's background, my background, never being a CEO, never being a CPO, all those things contributed for us to really get very close to customer. Funny enough, it's that situation, I would say.
Right.
But I do one thing I do give SAP credit. SAP does work very closely with customers. I know SAP has its own image as well.
Correct.
And I have my own feelings too, but let's leave those feelings. I have a lot of respect as well.
Yeah.
It's not just bad feelings, but I have a lot of respect
Correct.
as well. They do work closely with customers. It's a little bit of a misconception that SAP doesn't care for customers. It's a complete misconception.
Right. Makes sense. So let's come to the next part of journey. So you are now co-founder of Oro Labs. Oro Labs is one of the market leaders in procurement orchestration. So tell us about what exactly procurement orchestration is and how Oro Labs contribute to client success in it.
Yeah. So, where I left the journey, I said I built guided buying, and I didn't realize, I felt it is not what I wanted it to be.
Right.
But I didn't have the answer either,
Yeah.
in all honesty. So I left, and then after a year. And then my realization was most procurement software at that point in time were built to automate procurement or finance departments.
Right.
Fundamentally, if you think about P2P, which is procure to pay software, what is the purpose of it, right? It is really to automate finance and put some controls.
Correct.
You submit a requisition, it goes through some approvals, converts itself into one or more purchase orders.
Yeah.
When the invoice comes, you can match it against it.
Correct.
Roughly the process,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't solve the business user problem though. It's not, business user has a different problem.
Correct.
Business user problem is, hey, I want to work with a supplier. I've never worked with. How do I work with him?
Correct.
Oh, which supplier can I actually work with? They don't even know which supplier to work with. Oh, I want to do an SOW. What am I supposed to do?
Correct.
And I tell you what my realization was. I had to actually do a transaction when I was at SAP, when I ran the Ariba team.
Right.
I had to do a $750,000 POC with a supplier
Right.
in a different country. And at this point in time, SAP ran on Ariba.
Correct.
Guess what did I do? Can you guess?
Oh, tell me.
I sent an email to procurement to say, how do I do this?
Right. Okay.
And this I realized after I had led SAP. I didn't realize at that time.
Correct. Yeah.
And I am the owner of procurement within SAP.
Right. Yeah.
And I still sent an email.
Right.
And I'm telling everybody else to use my product.
Correct. So that reminds me of a really fascinating journey. So in my current job, when I started in India, I was setting up this procurement function for a lot of agency. They have heard procurement for first time. So my job was to convince them that we can do this job better. Let us handle it. But when I started talking to these guys, right, one of the question was like, why do I care about taxonomy? Like, why I should go and select level 1, level 2, level 3, right? And now that you are telling me this story, it makes so much sense. I was coming fresh out of Accenture Consulting. So in the ideal world, that things should happen in this way. And that was the realization for me. Like it doesn't matter really for end user. They don't really care. They want a simple process where things can move and get it done.
And the other thing is, procurement process, the fundamental realization I had was when I did the $750,000 transaction, it involves many other stakeholders.
Correct.
It involves data privacy. It involves legal from an intellectual property perspective. It may involve security. It may involve risk, some other compliance kind of risk.
Yeah.
It definitely involves some contract negotiation, which procurement can help you with.
Yeah.
But then it involves onboarding teams,
Correct.
which is vendor master teams, which is separate. So it involves a bunch of people actually, a bunch of teams. And the current at that time, procurement tools were not geared to solve this problem.
Correct. Yeah.
And why be surprised? The business user is completely confused.
Right.
And so year and a half later, at that time, the old procurement software, if if you step back, what was their core assumption? And that's what my realization was. I didn't change the core assumption.
Right.
I was knocking on the door
Yeah.
when I built guided buying, but I didn't open the door.
Right.
And the core assumption that software was built with, how do I optimize high volume of transactions?
Understood.
So typically in a company, if you look at volume wise, not the dollar spend wise,
Correct.
typically is your simple catalog purchases. They represent a lot of transactions, but volume dollar spend is not that much.
Yeah.
But if you ask the organization in general, where is your biggest pain? Biggest pain is typically in services. A lot of pain. Every time I cannot, firstly, fine, catalog experience in tools was not great. Search capabilities were not great. But above and beyond that, the experience, and as soon as you want to do something that is not catalog, was a problem.
Right.
So all these problems related to user experience was our realization. So what does Oro do? Oro is a procurement orchestration platform
Right.
built to solve 3 core problems. First is user experience. Is built for business users.
Right. Okay.
We believe by solving the user experience, we can make procurement a whole lot more effective.
Right.
But the only way to make it effective is make it as much self-service as possible. And self-service, not for catalog purchases, all purchases.
Correct.
Catalog purchases, self-service happened in Ariba,
Correct.
in Coupa.
Right.
That's old news.
Correct.
All purchases needs to be self-service as much as possible.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean procurement plays no role, but it needs to be self-service.
Correct.
Second, I believe there's too much manual stuff in procurement.
Right.
There's no point if procurement cannot add value in a $10,000 SOW that I'm trying to do to put your nose into it.
Right.
So, but at the same time, compliance is not optional.
Correct. Yeah.
How do you achieve compliance while giving the power to the business users?
Right.
This is the core value proposition that a procurement orchestration platform, our company like us, wants to deliver. And we believe by doing so, companies will not only save money, but we believe they will reduce risk.
Right.
They will increase compliance, whether it's regulatory or whatever other compliance that companies care for.
Correct.
All those things will go. And now you turbocharge this with AI. We are obviously AI first company, needless to say.
Correct.
You are really silly if you're a startup. You're not AI first.
Yeah.
You need to get a head check. So we are AI first. AI is incredible when you combine this with the power of orchestration. Now we can truly majestically and magically make the whole procurement experience incredible, achieve incredible amount of automation, and this will deliver great amount of savings.
Right. You're right. I mean, user experience has been the pain point for any SaaS deployment, right? I've seen many good products, but the user experience was holding it back. Are you saying that you're competing with P2P companies though, like Coupa, or you still need them as a foundation for building something in orchestration?
I won't say like P2P is a good question. I am glad you didn't say S2P, source to pay, because that's slightly different than P2P.
Correct.
P2P is more operational side of the equation. So look, firstly, let's talk about S2P. Let's broaden it up a little bit. Source to pay, as they call it, which contains sourcing modules,
Correct.
contracting module, supplier management module.
It's more of upstream strategy.
But it also contains your requisitioning, buying, quote unquote, invoicing, and payment.
Correct.
All the way. Right. The truth is, there are 1,000 ways of doing sourcing. People do it offline too.
Correct.
Finding a supplier on Google is not that bad. But I tell you how people find suppliers quite often is through referrals. You tell marketing person, how did you find supplier? Quite often through referrals.
Correct.
This is very common.
Yeah.
So there are 1,000 ways of finding suppliers.
Yeah.
Okay. So sourcing, I believe, can be done 1,000 different ways.
Okay.
Right. A contract is really interesting part. Who owns the contract? Does it? In many companies, the legal team actually owns a big chunk of contract.
Correct.
Yeah, commercial part of it is owned by procurement, but the legal part is owned by legal.
Correct.
So legal actually plays a bigger role. Now comes the P2P. What are we going to do? So the reason I told you all this stuff is our goal is not to be an S2P suite,
Okay.
because we fundamentally believe in best of breed. In best of breed world, there could be 100 sourcing solutions that try to do autonomous sourcing someday.
Right.
There could be 100 contracting solutions that try to do obligation tracking, issue management in a much, much better way.
Right.
By using AI, some people will say, do you even need CLM? I'm not in that camp, but some people will say that. Fair enough. But we don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
We'll do parts of it, but we don't want to do it. But when it comes to the operational side, we want to do everything. So that's where we want to do everything. We do. So that's where the little bit of overlap can happen. At the same time, if there's a company that has already invested $40 million in a P2P system, for me to go tell them, hey, let's replace P2P with Oro, I don't think it's grounded in reality. So we don't recommend that. We tell them put Oro as a layer on top.
Right.
However, if you don't have P2P or S2P in general, I would suggest orchestration with best of breed may be an answer.
Okay, that's interesting.
But we don't do everything. Having said that,
Yeah. So you kind of sit on the top of existing system, give the best user experience. So for user, it's still the front door where they go to for everything they need in the S2P world.
yeah, anything, absolutely. If I'm in marketing operations team, I may not even want to buy something, but I just want to say, hey, tell me all the open purchase orders for my marketing department that are overdue, whatever.
Right.
I should be able to write these kind of queries in natural language.
Correct.
Why do I have to build a report in this day and age of AI? Really have to build a report for this?
Yeah.
I think you can ask this question. It will generate a report on the fly. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So it's not just about starting a new transaction.
Correct.
It's really about business users. We want to give a carrot to the business user to use the system.
Right.
The stick model is outdated.
Is outdated now. I think it's true for everything in the corporate life now, right? The stick model is not working that much. How old is Oro now from the first inception?
We are a 4.5-year-old company now.
Right.
So yeah.
How did it started? I mean, you're a core engineer, so I'm sure you did all the coding and whatever needs to do at first. But what was the journey like? Did you approach client first, or you went for funding, raised something? How was the journey?
So I have two co-founders with me,
Right.
who are also my dear friends, Lalita and Yuan, who I worked with at Ariba. I learned a lot from Yuan, to be honest, because Yuan had been at Ariba for 20 years.
Right.
So essentially, when I got to Ariba,
What's their background? So you're technical.
so Yuan is CTO of Oro right now. I'm the CEO.
Okay.
And Lalita comes from marketing background, product marketing, product management background.
Right.
So we come actually with even though Yuan and I both have engineering background, we come with different, let's say, strengths.
Right.
And weaknesses too.
Yeah.
So three of us put together love procurement. All of us love procurement and are passionate about this subject. We bring different strengths to the party.
Correct.
So we started when I started thinking about, so we had the assumption, I told you the assumptions we had made.
Yeah.
One fine day, finally I realized what the wrong assumption was.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, I called Lalita and Yuan. I said, can we talk? Yeah. You see, you know what's wrong with procurement systems? I said, go ahead, since you've been thinking about it. I said, what's wrong is they were built to solve what I would call your biggest spend. Everything else is considered to be tail spend.
Correct.
But the truth is, if somebody is going to buy 1,000 laptops in a year, do you think a business user cares for laptop as much? Yeah, they care. They don't care as much. Laptops get delivered. Broadly speaking. Yeah, there are some supply chain issues every now and again.
Correct.
But broadly speaking, business users don't worry about about laptops. But you know the $750,000 transaction I told you about? I was losing my sleep over it.
Correct. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is the total dollar that a company spends in any given category is not as important to every user. It might be important to the person who is negotiating laptop deal. Could be in procurement, could be in IT.
Yeah.
Of course, it's an important deal from
In
a
the
company.
bigger scheme of things,
It's important. But to a business user, to vast majority of employees, they couldn't care less.
Correct. Yeah.
What they care for is what they care for.
Right.
And so our system was built to solve business user, as I told you. We think about business user first. We feel that thought process allows us to automate a whole lot more. Funny enough, the biggest beneficiary of this thinking actually is procurement and finance.
Right. Correct.
CFO is going to benefit a lot from our software.
True. I mean, if everybody is following that guide rails through this technology, then everything what they were trying to achieve with S2P is solved.
In a much more elegant way.
Correct. Without forcing, without stick.
And I too believe this carrot does exist. I did send an email. How do I do this transaction? What if I had a system who can help me?
Correct.
That stick is actually quite powerful. Guides me.
Yeah.
I want it to be guided. It's a notion that not everybody is buying papers and pencil. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
I was doing a $750,000 POC, which was very important to me.
Yeah.
But in grand scheme of it, at SAP level,
Correct.
$750,000 is not that much money.
Right.
A lot of money to me.
True.
But
True.
in SAP is not much money.
Correct.
Where the spend is more than $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly. So how did then you three came together?
Yeah.
Started working on product.
No, it's not like working on product. We started thinking.
Yeah.
And so again, to be frank with you, we are also fortunate because I was fortunate enough to be the chief product officer when I ran the engineering product management
Correct.
of the largest procurement software company, Ariba. So I already had the pedigree, if you will.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, the different story, but I had the pedigree, if you will. So not everybody is that fortunate.
Correct.
So I was fortunate. And so as soon as there were some investors who had told me already that, hey, it'll be great if you go back into procurement space, let us know.
Correct.
So when I started thinking about it, and one of the investor in particular who's on our as an investor, Sean, he was really pushing us to do this anyways.
Correct.
So the timing from that perspective was good. When we figured out, now he didn't know what problem we wanted to solve. That was our problem.
Correct.
And I didn't want to get in for the sake of getting in.
Correct.
I wanted to go with the point of view.
Correct.
So once I figured out what the point of view is, I spoke to Sean. Then of course Sean wanted to. He's an investor.
Right.
And he's a great guy, by the way. I mean, we're good friends, all that. But he still had to talk to some customers. So then I spoke to the customers I had worked in the past. And I was fortunate enough to work with many customers who said, yes, this sounds, at least your thinking sounds correct. These are problems in our companies today as well. And they had Ariba, Coupa, all kinds of systems. They say, hey, we have these problems. And Sean heard this. Yeah, the problems exist. And we'll be willing to pay. If Sudhir builds this product someday, we'll buy it from him.
That's quite interesting and quite unique in a way that investor was with you from day zero. And you kind of took him to potential customers and took view from them. When did you decide that, okay, my product is good now, there is a market for it? When was that product market fit?
Oh, that took a year and a half.
Right.
Year and a half, I would almost say 2 years. So when we started the company, there was no AI boom going on.
Correct.
So think about it. Now we're coming up with a new point of view.
Yeah.
First we're thinking, oh man, we have to educate the market. Now I say, okay, how are we going to educate the market about this problem and the proposition? Because educating, look, it's very easy to say, I just do something better than Coupa.
Correct.
Or Ariba, especially for me coming with my background. To say I'm better than Ariba is, people say, oh, this guy must know.
Correct.
It's very easy. But our point of view was, no, we want to make procurement awesome.
Correct.
We want to make procurement amazing. We believe procurement adds great value. I love procurement, as I said already.
Yeah.
So no surprise to
You
anyone.
were almost creating a new category.
Almost a new category. So it becomes really hard. And at the same time, we had a competitor in the marketplace who was taking a different approach to us.
Right.
Which is great. Now they've changed their approach. It's a different story. But
Does it help to have a close competitor?
Always.
Right.
They keep you on your toes. You keep them on your toes, and good for the market.
Right.
And the dynamics are always great. Always great. I mean, there's firstly any innovator or entrepreneur who thinks whatever idea they have, they are the only one with that idea. I have a news for you.
Correct.
There is no such thing.
Exactly. I fully agree with you.
There's absolutely no such thing. So half the idea lies in how do you execute? How do you hone in on your rising? So one thing we learned is, like, when we started the company, as I said, 4.5 years back, we were thinking, while we know a lot of large enterprise customers, we also know the sales cycle are extremely long.
Right.
Even with all well wishes and good intentions, they will take 12 to 18 months to close.
How do you tackle that? And I'm saying this quite conscious that I work in 3 big companies, like market leaders in their own field. And I know why it is long as well. There are some good reasons for it. And to be honest, some absurd reason. But how do you tackle it? Because it requires a lot of patience, right? Just to keep yourself afloat.
So here's the good news. What we are seeing in the market now, and I'll come back to what happened 4.5 years back in a second. Things are changing. The adoption curve, if you look at, is changing quite a bit.
Right.
So even like we are only a 4.5-year-old company. The concept has started picking up some steam 2 years back.
Correct.
But what we are seeing in last 6 months to 9 months, I would say in particular, it has really gaining momentum. Right. So what I'm trying to say is, even in enterprise software, I'm not suggesting every deal is going to happen in 3 months.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is the adoption curve has come down dramatically. That means you are able to sell, instead of an 18-month sales cycle, there will be 18 months with some customers.
Correct.
But we also have closed deals in 6 months and of very large companies.
Right.
Very, very large companies. So people are starting to say, you know what? This AI wave is here and it's real. That, I believe, has fundamentally shifted people's expectation and how they want to react to it.
Right.
The reaction time is much, much better right now. I don't know a single company where coming all the way from CEO. You work at a large company.
Correct.
I'm sure right from the CEO, you have a mandate. Tell me what you're doing in AI for every single group.
That's true.
And
But do you still go through RFPs?
yes, that's
That will
just
never
imagine.
go away, is it?
Imagine. No. It's not just that. It's worse than that.
Yeah.
We are selling to procurement.
Yeah.
We hear this all the time, right? I mean, their own rules.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend more than some amount, multiple bids.
Correct.
So by nature, it leads to RFPs.
Correct. No, that's true. So coming back to 4.5 years. So Sean was on board. How did you then went further, convince other investors, especially from non-procurement background? I mean, this was not a cool field to invest few years back. Now things are changing. How did you manage that journey altogether?
So having Sean on board as the first investor, and we had one more investor, Ross. He was also, look, I think early stage investors are very different than growth stage investors and very late stage.
Explain that.
So early stage investors typically invest what Sean or Ross would call it product market kind of, but from a perspective of investor, or from a perspective of the founding team.
Okay.
Product market.
They'll bet on people.
They'll basically bet on people.
Right.
Fundamentally, it's a bet on people.
Yeah.
So do I believe these guys can pull it off? And then you look at 3 or 4 backgrounds. Chief architect for Ariba network.
Correct.
Somebody who ran solutions for SAP, who knows Lalita. And myself, chief product officer. Is like, if they can't do it, I don't know who can do it. Almost. And also we were hungry too.
Yeah.
Because just because you've done a lot doesn't mean you're going to be successful. You need to have some amount of ambition. So investor looks for, they don't just look for your experience. They also look for, is this the team that wants to do it? And can they do it? Because starting a company is not for faint-hearted.
Correct. Especially, does it work in negative way if you're working for a long in a big company like Ariba? People might think that you're not a startup guy.
I mean, look, I have seen people who have worked only in startups. They're still not startup people.
Right.
Starting a company and working in a startup or a large company is 2 different things.
Right.
Look, starting a company, firstly, giving up a job, firstly, you're going to give up a lot of finances.
Correct. True.
Upfront, at least. You don't make the same money as you would make working in the larger company. There's no way about it. It's like substantially less. But you are, again, then the say, okay, I'm going to lose a lot of money. I need to aim for how much I can make. But then you start focusing on the wrong things, which is you start focusing on the final outcome you want.
Right.
As opposed to the journey you're going to go through. So startup is, I say, not for faint-hearted, but the journey is amazing.
Right.
If you focus on the journey, and it has some horrible days.
Right.
The whole idea that there's no competition is completely ridiculous. Everybody has a competition. So when you put it all together, and then you have to really, really enjoy every day.
Right.
If you don't enjoy it, if you're only looking to just make a quick buck, some people can do it. I personally don't prescribe. I'm not suggesting it's wrong. But from my perspective, it doesn't make sense. I would say enjoy if you're going to do this.
Right.
So you live once. Yes, you can always make money. Not easy. I had to give a lot of money to do this. So it was a very big financial decision. So you better have a family support as well.
Correct.
So your family should support it too. They're going to take a toll. My wife is really supportive.
Right.
Finally, she's trying to complain. Little bit. In her defense, she does notice that, oh man, you work a lot.
Yeah.
And again, some people do more than others. People have different ways of doing things. I have my ways of doing things.
Correct.
Not always right. But to answer the original question, product market fit, firstly, the SAP thing, I don't believe a founder has defined by which company they work for.
Correct.
You could be at 20 years, like Yuan was at SAP, Ariba, then SAP for 20 years, even longer than me.
Okay.
I was only 8.5 years compared to that.
Right.
But telling somebody Yuan, who is my co-founder, not a startup guy is ridiculous.
Correct.
I don't believe in that. But at the same time, I've seen people in startups who I don't think should ever start a company. So because starting a company really requires you to have perseverance, some amount of conviction, some amount of, I'm going to just do it no matter what. And just some desire for experience.
Correct.
So all those things put together gives you the energy to do it. So I don't, to answer your question,
Correct.
I personally don't believe in that.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'll say one thing. I was looking at it actually. I knew we were going to talk about this a little bit today. I was looking what is the average age of a successful startup founder.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
It is between 42 to 45.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So with her experience,
So
I think that's also that's the theme of this podcast. I mean, I started this because there is so much content on just startup nowadays that leave everything, follow your passion, do something, which is also great, works for some people. But I genuinely believe you should take some experience. Like you found your problem statement through your journey in Ariba, and that's why I think you are a great example of that journey itself. So coming back to that point, and we seems to miss that answer, right? So 1.5 year, that's when you got the aha moment that this is going to work now.
yeah.
What was immediately coming after it? Have you seen a more clients coming to you with the requirement? How was the journey after the product market fit?
So you accomplish product market fit, in my mind, not when you have 1 or 2 customers, when you start seeing repeat of customers
Right.
with something similar, starting to resemble the same thing again and again.
Right.
That means, oh, you have a product which can be bought by many customers. So you don't want to build a new product for each customer. Then you are just a custom shop.
Correct.
So you want to sell the same product. Of course, we are a no-code platform. So people can make changes to it, but fundamentally it's the same product still. Right. So when we started seeing repeat is when we thought we hit the product market. And to be honest, when we started the company, we were focusing on what they call ICP. What is your sweet spot customer, right? That you should go after, as they say. And it was not clear to us because even though my background would have said, we always believed in large enterprise, but at the same time, we were doing mid-market.
Okay.
So we're doing 2 things at the same time. And the reason for mid-market is when you start a company in enterprise software, especially in procurement, typically when a Bay Area company starts, they sell to other Bay Area companies.
Correct. Yeah.
That is the Bay Area culture.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley culture, they first sell to their own companies.
Correct.
The reason is, I'm an investor in your company.
Yeah.
I'm an investor in his company. So I'm going to tell, hey, connect the dots. Maybe you should buy his software.
Correct.
So the ecosystem kind of is an echo chamber almost. So it kind of grows a little bit, which is beautiful thing about Silicon Valley. But we felt procurement problems are really even more painful in other verticals, like life sciences, like manufacturing, like CPG, and many large enterprises, like financial services. The problems are even more complex and more interesting. So we wanted to get there, but we didn't have a conviction that they will be ready. So for 1.5 years, we were kind of going, even though we had incredible customer, we had Novartis, BASF as our early customers.
Correct.
We were still not convinced. We still didn't have conviction.
Right.
So, but once AI came, it really solidified our positioning.
Correct.
Where which way we want to focus. Obviously, if somebody were to ask me one thing you would do differently and better in last 4.5 years, and to our investors' credit, they used to tell me this all the time, but they still had a lot of faith in us. They gave a lot of wiggle room. Is pick your ICP, decide who your customer is. So once you know what your customer is, whether it's large enterprise in this region, that region, this vertical, whatever it is, you can still build a product that's horizontal, but your go-to-market motion needs to be more vertical, more precise, so that you can actually scale the business early on.
Yeah. What I like about Oro is looking at Oro in the news. I mean, of course, all the funding success stories are there, but I think you were quick to reach out to global market. Not only stayed in the Bay Area, but really quick to respond to other markets. One of such thing is you recently acquired a company called Procurement in London. Tell me about that. Was it always a plan to expand rapidly through acquisitions?
So it's kind of interesting because I was part of Ariba, which became part of SAP. SAP is a German-based company. So as we started expanding, so one of the goals that I had set ourselves with Alex, when we said, Alex, we cannot lose Germany to anybody. Ariba as an independent company could afford to lose Germany. But once Ariba became part of SAP, say, hey, we cannot lose German market to anybody, including Coupa. There's no way. So because of that, I started working closer with a lot of customers in Germany, lots of customers in Europe by virtue of which. So it naturally I already had built the relationships. So that played actually handy here, as it turns out. So even when we came off the gates, our first 2 large customers were Novartis and BASF.
Okay.
Surprise. Doesn't happen for a Silicon Valley based company.
Correct.
And I live in Silicon Valley too.
Yeah.
And so it was like a little bit of what we had done. Of course, we have a lot of customers in US as well now. So we are still a California headquartered company,
Correct.
but we still have customers in US. And then once we had this, we also wanted to work with some company. So we met Lance Almos, who is the CEO of ProcureTech,
Yeah.
2.5 years ago.
Okay.
So he was thinking about what he wants to do with ProcureTech. So he said, hey, we can work with you. We are thinking about this orchestration. And he said, this sounds interesting. He's also has a lot of passion for procurement.
Correct. Yeah.
So we started working. He was independent still. He was doing work with a lot of other, our competitors too, in all fairness. Rightly so. Rightly so. So he was working, but he was working very closely with us too. So finally, it came time towards the tail end of last year and early this year, where we really had to scale our operations, where we really wanted to, because he's really good from a go-to-market perspective.
Correct.
So we wanted, people thought, look, Oro is actually quite easy to implement. We have a large customer, someone like Danone, for example. They went live on our platform in 2.5 months.
Okay.
So we didn't acquire ProcureTech because Oro is hard to implement.
Right.
We acquired Oro, them because our customers need to they're still looking for us to provide some answers. Hey,
Correct.
what is the business case for this? How much of AI should I use? So with his background, his team's background, it becomes a little bit easier for us.
It's more like an independent advisory, but
No, it's not advisory. It's not advisory anymore.
Right.
It's completely part of, we don't offer advisory services at all.
Okay.
But our customers do expect us to give them the business value.
Right. Okay.
Not everybody is going to say, okay, let me go hire somebody outside consulting or advisory service to help me build the business case. If they do, it's great. No problem.
Yeah.
We work with all of them.
Yeah.
But sometimes they want a slightly faster pace where they don't want to invest the money.
Correct.
So we provide that kind of an option. But most important reason for us to acquire is we wanted to scale our operations in Europe.
Correct.
That's the fundamental reason.
Oh, that's brilliant. And what's your strategy for APAC and rest of the world? So US is covered, EMEA is covered. What about that part?
Yeah, APAC is a tough market, to be honest. It's very big, firstly. Right. And obviously, I'm Indian. I was born in India. That doesn't mean I want to be, India is the first place I want to go to. It's very tough market because it's very big. Like Singapore looks very different. Correct. Japan looks very different. So we are still thinking which markets we'll go after next.
Correct.
But like Australia, we're starting to go into now. But I do believe in Asia, APAC, some parts like Japan in particular, because obviously Ariba had a lot of customers in Japan too. So it will be a natural fit. So most likely right now we need to focus on the markets we are in, maybe expand a little bit in Australia, because again, we have a lot of ground to cover in Europe and US right now.
True. So if someone has to learn about procurement orchestration, apart from Googling or asking ChatGPT nowadays, what's the best thing to learn about it? Especially for those in procurement who are watching this podcast, what should they do first?
I mean, there is really amazing content from a lot of incredible content people who are producing content. I don't know if I have one place you can go to find extraordinary information, but like, for example, we all know Dr. Eloise Epstein. She does a good job in the space. She has educated the market quite a lot in the space. So she's quite amazing, I think, so reading up about her stuff. But also, I think in general now, there's a lot of content out there. Like Spend Matters has done a good job, actually. You can read up about Spend Matters. So there are a lot of these people who did S2P. They are coming along to writing really interesting. Of course, if you read Oro, then you'll get Oro's perspective.
Correct,
So you want to see some other perspectives. That's why I'm giving other people's name, not our own name.
No, we'll put your link in the description as well. One thing which I really liked about Oro is you seems to have cracked the B2B marketing code. Your name is there in every conference, all the leading procurement podcasts. I've seen other episode with AOP. I think it was out there. Was it intentional to focus on B2B marketing?
Yeah, that's the way enterprise, once you know ABCD of enterprise sales, enterprise market, go to market, that's the way that market works.
Correct.
This is not what they call PLG or product-led growth. Come try my product and put a credit card.
Correct.
That's not how this software works.
And who is your target then? Is it CPOs, Chief Procurement Officer, or is it more CFOs who see values in it?
Look, we want to graduate ourselves to CFO. Because we feel in the end what we deliver will be the finance benefit. In the end, but obviously we have to graduate there. So, and we think we can orchestrate a whole lot more in a company. Orchestration is, think of it as automation. Think of it as automation, primarily powered with AI now. So,
AI powered improved workflows.
So the best way to think of orchestration is workflow that brings humans, machines, AI agents, and your service providers together.
Yeah. Okay.
On one system, so they can collaborate more efficiently. That delivers better outcomes.
Correct.
Very simple orchestration, and this can happen in interesting shapes and forms.
Right.
So that's what it is. So yeah.
Right. Last couple of questions. First of all, thank you again. You have traveled from US. I know you were in London today and rushed to this studio. It really means a lot. So last couple of questions. One is, if you have to rebuild Ariba as a product today from scratch, what you will do? Don't say orchestration layer, because I know that that's something you're building now.
That's a tough one, man. That's a really tough one. Look, it's easy to say the assumption we made when we built guided buying even, let alone the people before me who built Ariba Network in 1999, whenever they built it.
Right.
Or Ariba P2P, as they say. What they did was not right. In fact, what they did led to what we are doing now.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's really unfair for me to say, because I really, really respect what Ariba did, what Coupa did. They're great companies, in my opinion. Coupa is a great company too. So I have a lot of respect for them. So it's hard to say what you do, but I do think Ariba will have to, now Ariba is a part of SAP. They will have to truly think what role they will play in this modern ecosystem. I personally don't believe the role that one tool can do it all exist like it existed 10 years back.
Right.
I personally feel this is the world of orchestration where humans, AI agents, and machines will play together.
Correct. Yeah.
To deliver the value we want to deliver. So in this ecosystem, I think as the world moves more and more towards best of breed, would they try to build orchestration? I'm sure they will. I have no doubts about it. But does the world even want an orchestration from Ariba or Coupa?
Correct.
Where they are trying to use, maybe I pick one AI agent from Coupa and one from Ariba. And they all need to work together.
Correct.
And I'll pick one from Oracle. I'll tell you, the first thing we saw when SAP acquired Ariba, before SAP, used to have 60% SAP, 40% Oracle customers.
Okay.
In the number. I forget the exact number, but roughly. It was not that far apart. 2 years later, that number became 75-25.
Right. Okay.
That tells you that neutral party had a value.
Correct. Yeah.
So I'm not giving you the clear answer because there is no clear answer.
I get it. I mean, there is no right and wrong answer. What you will do differently in terms of your corporate journey?
Look, I did something at Ariba as well when I took over, which I was very proud of. More than all the successes we got, we saw 28% growth as we saw year over year, which was pretty incredible in terms of bookings. So it was pretty incredible. But what I was really proud of is how we motivated the organization. How much people were excited about coming to work every day.
Correct.
I really feel that is a passion of mine, which is how do we provide opportunity to everyone to grow.
Right.
So I would love for people to grow, be able to start their own companies because they learned a few things at Oro and they start someday their own companies. It will be a phenomenal outcome for me.
Right.
Because end of the day, team is the most important thing.
Right.
Like ideas can change even. What is more important is the people who work together.
Correct.
So if you ask me, I would love to stay a people-focused culture company.
Right.
I'd like to continue to do that where people say that. Nobody says, I don't want to be people-focused. That'll be ridiculous. Why do HR departments? But when you say people-focused, you have to give opportunities to people to succeed and fail and still cherish.
Correct.
So I like to build...
just the freedom for them to do what they want to do. Of course, they will stay in the guide rails of the company, but just the freedom matters so much.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, we even struggle to write down what our values are. Because, I mean, I can give you values that anybody would care for.
Right.
So why is it that unique to Oro? Honesty, for example. I really care for that.
Yeah.
Teamwork. Okay, really? Is that a news? Right? It's not news. Anything I come up with, honestly, I can tell you everything we came up with.
Correct.
Nothing sounded like a news.
Yeah.
I said,
It's obvious.
It's obvious. So then make it obvious then. Let's not pretend to be not obvious.
Right.
So I still believe we are a very hands-on culture that I really cherish.
Yeah.
I do believe people should be hands-on solving problems, learning from that, because that's where you learn.
Correct.
Not like just look, all of us are human beings. We have our own quirks. All of us do. That shows up at home and work.
Yeah.
It shows up in your family life too. It doesn't only show up at work.
Correct.
It shows up at work as well, though. But at the same time, we all want to learn. I think, and creating an environment for learning. I really hope if we can build that as a core culture where people learn and grow, that'll be fantastic.
Excellent. Final question, Sudhir. If someone has to start a startup, it sounds wrong, like start a startup, but what's advice you have? Someone who is in the corporate life, let's say 5-10 years into the journey, and now they are looking to start. Sometime that paycheck could be a demotivator. You get a SMS saying your salary is credited. That makes you to stick to the job. What you will advise to such people?
I would say two things. And first thing is, finances do matter.
Correct.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
So make sure you are in a somewhat stable state. I mean,
what's your definition of stable state?
Like, for example, if you have kids and you're going to start a company, make sure you have finances that can cover for a few years at least.
Correct.
So your paycheck is going to go down, most likely at least.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're lucky, whatever. Right? Most people are not that lucky. So your pay is going to go down. So, I mean, your family is still important to make sure it's covered. So you have some amount of savings.
Correct.
Some way of tap into it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not suggesting you need to have, you should be financially independent completely.
Correct.
But that's not realistic.
Yeah.
And then you will never start a company. So you don't have to go to that level of extreme, but having a little bit of a buffer would help. Yeah. Because whatever you assume amount of time it will take longer, generally speaking. So that's the first advice I'll give.
True.
Think through your finances a little bit. Make whatever decision you make. Let's assume you decide to take all the risk.
Correct.
Do a very conscious decision.
Right.
Don't let it be like, okay, it's no big deal. It is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It will hit your finances. I can tell you that. The second thing was be open to taking some risk.
Right.
Assuming your finances are okay, little bit, not financially independent, but okay.
Correct.
Be open to taking risk. The reason I think people are risk averse sometimes. Be bold a little bit. Because let's assume you start a company and it fails. I can tell you, you learn more than you can ever imagine.
Correct.
So you will learn. By virtue of which, you'll be more valuable to the society.
Correct.
And to somebody who wants to look for people.
Correct.
They will offer you more money and likely you will cover for whatever you lost anyway.
Correct.
So I
that
think
stigma has gone, I think. Like previously there was a stigma, he's a failure, may not get another job. But I think people look out for failure founders, like failed founders as well.
Because this really your creativity, your growth is exponential.
Correct.
It's not linear.
Yeah.
This is exponential growth.
Correct.
So, and people look for people who have gone through this exponential growth. We look for those kind of people in our company, by the way.
True.
Doesn't matter if you fail or success. It is almost irrelevant.
Correct.
What is more important is you have the learning mindset and you want to take risk. You want to try things. You want to make it work.
Makes sense. Thank you so much, Sudhir, again. Thanks for your time. It was really pleasure. Lot of insight. I'm going to put some links out there, including your LinkedIn profile. And thank you so much again.
It was great talking to you, Sachin. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thanks.
Yeah, cheers.